Hello, and welcome to Star Wars Obsessed. So I had a request by Hoth Rebel 86. He would like me to give my thoughts on the upcoming game, Jedi Fallen Order. But before I go in giving my opinion about Jedi Fallen Order, how about I talk about my history with Star Wars video games? Why not? So it all started way back with what else? The Empire Strikes Back. Now, I haven't played this game since way back in the 80s, and I remember playing it and liking it, but I remember it's a very simple gameplay. Just attacking the AT-ATs right there, and the one segment in the movie, that's all you get to do. I remember it being fun, but how it holds up today, I'm not really sure. But this is the first game that I played that was related to Star Wars. And then they came out with Star Wars Arcade, and I absolutely loved that game. It was vector graphics, but it was still a lot of fun. And it was basically you just going into the Death Star, and it's like the Death Star battle, but it had sounds from the movie, and it even had Luke Skywalker's voice. Then I had gotten this one, the Return of the Jedi Death Star Battle, and here's the box image of it. I really like the art on this. It's very nice. And I haven't played it in years, but did I like the game? I don't remember. It's been so long. And I don't have an Atari 2600 to be able to play this. Or even a one of those systems that, what are they called? The emulators? I don't even have one of those. Based on the gameplay footage I'm showing here, I really like the sound effects that I'm hearing. Those are pretty cool. And it may have looked like it was a fun game back in the day, but now I'm not sure. Star Wars! And this one I really enjoyed and really loved because it more or less followed the story of Star Wars, and it took a few liberties, obviously, because, you have to have an adventure, and it had to extend it for a gameplay, but I just remember it being really fun. I remember it being very difficult, too, and I had to use one of those, what is it, the Game Genie? I had to use the Game Genie to basically finish the game, because this is a pretty hard game. I remember, by the way, the art on this, great. I remember doing this, the Millennium Falcon part, but I remember the only way I can get through the asteroid belt is I had to constantly pause and look where there's an empty space, and then unpause and go directly to that empty space, and then when more asteroids came, I pause, and then look for an empty space, unpause and go. That's the only way I can get through this. It was so hard, but it was still a lot of fun. I don't even know if I finished the game, even with the Game Genie. The games were expensive, and back in the day, I didn't have a lot of money, so I couldn't just be spending it on video games. I was collecting Star Wars! That's what I wanted. I wanted Star Wars. So a few times when I was able to afford a video game, I got a video game. I did play Super Star Wars. I had a job where I worked at a group home. The kids had a Super Nintendo system, and they would play it, and I'd get to play with them, or I'd get to watch them. And Super Star Wars came out in 1992. Now, in 1993, we got Star Wars Chess. Yes, Star Wars Chess. I don't particularly like playing chess. Didn't really play this very much because it's chess, but what was really cool were the animations, like this kind of animation. I liked the animations, but it wasn't enough to want me to play chess, even though it had Star Wars characters. I did get to play Super Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back. Again, I didn't buy it. It was at the job where I worked. They were actually pretty generous in buying the video games for the kids. And Super Star Wars Return of the Jedi, I did get to play that as well. And I remember that one being easier and actually being able to get through and finishing that one. Then in 1994, Sega CD came out with Star Wars Arcade, which is similar to the one that had the vector graphics, but this time it's all polygon graphics, and it was basically the same. This time they added a two-player option, which was fun, and you could also attack a Star Destroyer. And I remember being a lot of fun. And Dark Forces, I did play Dark Forces, and I think I had a copy of Dark Forces, but I no longer have it. I don't know why. The Shadows of the Empire on N64, I did play, and I did not own the N64. My nephew owned it, and I remember it being a pretty good game. I have vague recollections of the game, because that was in 1996. I had heard about Knights of the Old Republic, and that it was an RPG, and that it was really good, but it was available on Xbox. I don't really like playing video games on my computer. Since it was not available on PlayStation, that's the system I had with PlayStation, I never got to play it. Until recently, when they finally have it for Android, I downloaded it to my phone, so one of these days I'll get started on Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. See how that is. I mostly buy used games, so I don't really like to purchase the game when it's new because it's too expensive, and I just can't bring myself to pay $50, $60 for a new game. I just wait until the game goes down in price, and then I'll pay for it. And if that has to take a year or two, then I wait. Now we're at Star Wars: The Force Unleashed, but I did play Star Wars: The Force Star Wars: The Force Unleashed 2 on the Wii, and it's terrible. The controls were awful, and the story was bad, and I didn't get it because I didn't play the first one. After I finished The Force Unleashed 2, I later found The Force Unleashed for real cheap. I had problems with it. It's just, I don't know, something about it, it didn't have the feel, like I was just, the wonderfulness of Star Wars, I guess, and I just couldn't get that in The Force Unleashed. I also played Lego Star Wars, and this one is the complete saga. At first I did buy the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy, and then they came out with the complete saga, so I got this. It's a lot of fun. It's Lego play. You get to follow through the story. You know, it's harmless, simple fun. I also played the Star Wars Angry Birds. I had that for a while, which eventually got frustrating. I also played Star Wars Battlefront. That is not my type of game. I'm mostly into story-based games, and this one was basically just a battle. You go to this battle, you go to that battle, you go to that battle, and it's like a challenge, a time challenge or something like that, and that's not something that I like to do. I'm more of a RPG action type of player. Games like Fallout, I like playing that, or Far Cry, those kind of games. Now that brings me to Jedi Fallen Order. Here's the premise of the game. Taking place after Order 66 from Revenge of the Sith, which started galaxy-wide purge of the Jedi Order, players take control of Padawan Cal Kestis, one of the last surviving Jedi, as he attempts to survive while being chased by a galactic empire and the evil Second Sister Inquisitor. Throughout his journey, young Cal will visit familiar worlds with the assistance of the rebel extremist Saw Gerrera and his old mentor, Jedi Master Cere? C-E-R-E? Cere? And from what I see at the trailer footage, the graphics looks fantastic. And some of the action that you get to see in the game, or get to do in the game, looks really cool. And some of the sets. Saw Gerrera. I hope Saw Gerrera is better in this than he is in Rogue One. I like some of the action sequences, like throwing the lightsaber. It's really cool. And some of the footage of this looks pretty amazing. but it looks like a lot of fun. It looks pretty exciting. Looking forward to playing it. I see that there's some gameplay that's similar to Prince of Persia, and I used to play Prince of Persia, and it was not a kind of game that I could continue playing because it was very frustrating. So that kind of makes me nervous. Unfortunately, I will not be purchasing this when it comes out because, as I said, I don't like paying full price for video games. I just can't do it. So I'll have to wait maybe a year later, depending on the price when it goes down. I will definitely play this. So Jedi Fallen Order looks gorgeous, and it looks like a lot of fun. So Hoth Rebel 86, thank you for the suggestion. And you had also asked for my thoughts on Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland, and I will give you those thoughts in an upcoming video. Hey, thanks for watching Star Wars Obsessed. If you like this video, then give it a thumbs up and click subscribe. Also, click on that bell icon to be alerted to new videos. You can also check out more of my collection at the Star Wars Obsessed blog.